High Plains Technology Center, turning education and training into workplace success.
Oh, back to school, to prove to Dad that I'm not a fool.
High Plains Technology Center, education at the speed of business. School is now in session.
Good morning. Good Wednesday morning. Taylor Burnett, High Plains Technology Center, back at you after a 2-week hiatus. So it's kind of exciting. Here we are, 2024, that time frame. So,
hard to believe, isn't it?
I know. So that voice that you hear, I'm going to let him introduce himself in here in a while, but you're going to get him 2 weeks in a row. I don't know if this is good, bad, indifferent, what it is, but we're going to have 2 weeks in a row. So go ahead and introduce yourself.
Barclay Holt, Superintendent at High Plains.
Our fearless leader. So the good thing is, those that don't know, is Barclay used to be able to say whatever he wants, and he's kind of handed that baton off to me. And now he holds me back by giving me that look. Yeah.
Didn't know I'd given that baton up.
So he has to be more reserved, and he allows me to be able to do things like this. But then it gets scary when we're both together with it.
Yeah, it's
everything.
a bad deal.
I know,
yeah.
Especially at the start of 2024.
Exactly.
Have you had to write that down very often yet?
Not yet. But,
okay.
But I was thinking earlier.
I know.
It'll be 23 for about a month.
But I think 2024 is going to be easier for me to remember for some reason. Yeah, because the Ramones song.
Okay.
Want to be sedated, they go 2020, 2024, want to be sedated. Okay. All right.
Yeah, take your word.
Okay. So, I have Barclay on, Mr. Holt on, but for a very good reason. So what we've got going on, a lot of people in our county really don't understand what we've got going on, but a lot of people kind of in the panhandle of Beaver County kind of know what we've got going on. Barclay's actually done some shows in regards to this as well. But you might tell everybody out there, I know our board knows and I know all our staff knows, but tell everybody what's going on next Tuesday.
Well, it started back in last June, May and June last year, but what's going to happen on January 9th is the people of Beaver County are going to vote to annex. They got to vote to annex into High Plains Technology Center District. And so anyway, in Oklahoma, there's 29 Tech Center districts, and they wanted to be a part of one, and it made the most sense since we're next to them to annex to High Plains, and so that's the vote that's before the people.
Because it's a little bit of an easier scenario annexing. So talk about the
it's
with that.
with the annexation in the Career Tech, we operate. You can either join by school districts or by counties, and High Plains, it's a vote to tax yourself. I mean, it's a vote to a millage increase, 10 and 2, 10 mills into general fund and 2 mills into building, and that's the vote those people have put forward. It will. There's different ways to do it. Like I said, some have done it by school districts. That's mostly the way that High Plains has been up to this point. But since the Panhandle does not have anybody out there, they're not a member of a district, then when they decided to do this back in May and June, they started talking about it. And when it finally went, it just made sense for them to do it as a county due to the total millage.
And so there's 4 schools that encompass that county. So what are the 4 schools that are
Four schools are Beaver, Turpin, Balco, and Forgan. And so to be able to take advantage of the services, they'd obviously have all the services that we offer at High Plains, but we're going to do some things out there that'll be utilizing some existing infrastructure that they have available out there, and then putting our TAP program in those 4 schools would be something that would be happening if this vote passes. And
I know people in our area are very well versed in TAP, but trying to explain it to some of those schools was a little bit of an interesting.
And TAP, it's probably the best part of it's been the flexibility for us and what it's brought to not only the recruitment and students being able to get their hands on things early that they need to with the skills, the trades, but out there there was a big explanation that had to happen. The flexibility of TAP, it's an 8th, 9th, and 10th grade program here, dives down into the 6th. It may look a little different in those individual schools there, but the flexibility of it, I think the people are excited about that. Anytime, we talk about it all the time, and as you said, Taylor, we understand it, but getting young people to be able to get a jump start on skills and programs and see that what they might have available in careers is a big deal in today's time. And so that kind of resonates with everybody.
And you're kind of excited because it's hearkening back a little bit to, you know, when you instituted TAP and started down that road, when, you know, you got a little bit mundane with
it's been fun to watch TAP evolve. I mean, from just an idea and an idea that I guess maybe in my head I understood, but you know, when you're talking
nobody
to people,
wants to be in that head space
nobody wants to be there, I know, but you're and then when you bring it to fruition and it's taken hold, and here we are 7 years later, and the possibility of students in the Panhandle that do not have a career tech availability could not only have that but have TAP at their fingertips real quickly is pretty cool. So,
you know, and the thing I love about this is they recognized the need. You know, their county and came to us. Yeah. You know, actually, it came to Paczkowski.
Completely driven. Yeah, I mean, Kenton Paczkowski, the representative out there, that deserves a lot of credit in terms of just searching us out, I guess would be how I would say that, because, you know, when he came in and he does some of those eggs and issues and some meetings that we see him at and stuff, you know, he, in being at the Capitol, heard more and more about career tech and what what is offered business and industry wise and high school daytime program wise and on down into TAP, and just and he'll sum it up most of the time at these meetings we've been at and doing public forums and stuff. Is he'll say, you know, everything's about workforce development and developing those resources in our area. And he said he just thought this made sense, and so kind of took that back and talked to our director, Director Haken, and just kind of got the ball rolling from there, and it went pretty fast.
Well, you've heard, you know, people that have listened to this show before have heard me say, and I say it a lot, we don't take care of our own in our area, you know, in our little pocket, then who will? And if we think it's like this here, what's it like there?
Yeah, and that's what we've seen. I mean, you see it right here in Woodward County. I mean, in the 2020 census, we saw that it went down, and I mean, our migration's a real deal everywhere in western Oklahoma. There's nobody that's immune to it, and you know, when you're talking about a town of Woodward that was 15,000 give or take, and now down in that 12 or 13 range, when you start talking about a county of 6,000 or 7,000 and you lose that same percentage, you can't do that very many times.
Well, you know, it takes special people to live where we do. It takes more special people to probably live where they live out in there. Yeah. They're a different mindset, and they're tougher.
I think it's really, really cool about western Oklahoma, and maybe it's this way in other parts of the country, but I think just how people take care of themselves. You mentioned that, and how resilient people are. And that's a deal where, like you said, they come up with the idea, they talk it through, the school boards talk it through, we give them some information, we fed them that information as they asked for it, and then here we are going to have a vote, and it's their it's their proposal at a solution is what it is.
Well, and you know, they've been asking us things, wanting us to do things, and it felt a little rushed just because it really was rushed, honestly, and time wasn't on our side.
I've done that to you quite a bit. So Taylor doesn't like being rushed sometimes.
I told him I'm like at 55 miles an hour, not 110. So yeah.
Yeah, but no, it did. But I think that also lends to when it's grassroots up, it probably does move faster from the standpoint of if you're out there trying to sell it, and that's what I've told the people out there every time. I said, if you're looking for a silver bullet, I would not say that High Plains Career Tech is that silver bullet, but what I would say is we can be a part of that solution. I think that's been taken well, but I think it's been taken well because they asked for it, not because we were out there selling it.
And it's on their ask, and I feel like we don't need to go sell anything is what I love about what we do.
You know this sitting in your shoes too. I've told our staff that I mean, if the vote passes or the vote fails, I've kind of taken the shoulder, and you know this, the kind of shouldered the responsibility of doing the information dissemination out there and handling those meetings and things, because our crew has a job to do every day, and they didn't need to be worrying about Beaver County pass or fail. Beaver County passes, we will pin our ears back and get after it. But if it fails, then we'll continue on our day to day as we have. So our staff, I tell them all the time, I think the things have happened, things are happening, things are being talked about in other areas. Career Tech's a big part of solution all over the state. And if you look in northeast Oklahoma and eastern Oklahoma where economic activity is happening, Career Tech's been there for over 60 years now. Out here where we have these white spaces that it's just something that you have to, the facts are the facts, that where we sit, there's more economic activity happening. And so,
and it's tried to go through at times in Guyman, and it hasn't, but Beaver has really never gone for this. And I think that's testament to their figureheads as well, to realize this is something that we need to look into and that is needed.
Yeah, it's been, obviously Kenton, and then it went to the commissioners. There's the three commissioners. It went to them, and but before that, it went through the school superintendents, and the school superintendents, along with their school boards, put a proclamation together in support of it. It just kind of went the right path, in my estimation, pass or fail. It's taken the right path to get to that vote and to get the information out. Communities have all been very receptive. It's been, I'm not going to kid you that, I was telling you earlier about being sweaty palm when I get on here to talk on the radio, and I've gotten over that in 13 years. But when you go out there and you stand in front of people that you don't know, I know some of them, I don't know some of them, but when you stand up in front of them and you're going to catch questions that you have no idea, I hate to say feel sorry for politicians, but I really did there at some instances start feeling sorry for politicians that are involved in presidential debates and stuff like that, because you don't know where those questions are coming from. So.
Well, the cool thing is if you don't think that this is even going to help and have a more of a stronghold with our campus here and our staff here, vice versa with there versus and here, working off of each other, I think is the exciting part of this.
Yeah. And then that's been something that I've had to kind of take a step back from at times in those meetings, is understand that the people in Beaver County, some have a level of understanding, but for the most part, you have to go back when you start talking about our Career Tech and at High Plains, and Branson's sitting across there shaking his head right now. If you've grown up there and went to school out there as he did, you understand what it's all about to an extent. But when I go into those meetings, you have to start at ground zero and start up and talk, not only from TAP, but the creation of Career Techs and how we're set up in the state and things that do build a lot of the groundwork for people to understand.
That even our staff are trying to still grasp their head around after 10 years.
I've been in it for 30 years, and I still learn stuff all the time that are available through different avenues in our system. So.
You talk about the economic driver and the economic development with things. Us hitting a home run in northwest Oklahoma and western side of the state, it can even look like 25 employees, versus the 3,000, 6,000 employees. And so,
when I student taught in Adair, and I use this as an example because Mid-America Industrial Park at Pryor is kind of the mecca of all industrial parks in the state of Oklahoma. 30 years ago, when I student taught at Adair, there was a soybean rendering plant there. And I'm going to lie about the numbers if I came up with one, but it wasn't very many people that were employed out there. Then Gatorade came in and it failed. It didn't work. And now there's Amazon, there's all these things that have happened over there here recently, and everybody goes, wow, it's great that big stuff happens, but I'm talking 30 years ago, that thing was already in existence. I don't know how long it started before that.
That Gatorade factory was pretty empty for a while.
And so, when you say, you're exactly right, that home runs aren't going to happen, you're probably going to bunt a single every once in a while.
And we'll take that. So the cool thing is this vote is going to be the 9th. We've got a board meeting. We've got a legacy dinner on the 8th. Then we have the vote on the 9th, and we're going to be back on the radio the 10th. I wanted to bring Barclay back on just to talk about what the plan of action is. I didn't want to get too much into it this week, and we'll be able to talk about that. And it could be, hey, we're going to have our, heads down, or we're going to be, holy cow, what are we going to do?
I've told staff we're not going to have our heads down.
Nope.
That's not what this is about. It's about those people, put it to a vote. Love that we live in America, love that it's a democracy. they have the right to yes or no, and however we'll go forward accordingly after that.
So the cool thing is, folks, what I'm trying to say too is you're going to get a before and after. And if you've seen any of the before pictures of Barclay with hair until after, it's kind of awe-inspiring.
Yeah.
Got a picture of that over Christmas break from your brother as well. So we'll tune in next week as well. But everybody, thank goodness everybody's back and healthy in 2024, and we'll see you next week.